Has someone ever betrayed you, or you felt like someone is plotting against you? Well, that's what this video is about. And I'm going to discuss what you need to do in the situation where you feel like someone's plotting against you or they've outright betrayed you. Okay, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kane. I'm the Silver Bachelor. This channel is 100% dedicated to dating advice for older guys. And if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and a notification button because I'm dropping a video every day. All right, it sucks, man. It hurts like a knife in your back, specifically your back, when someone has betrayed you or you think they're plotting against you. Ooh, that hurts. And believe me, I've been betrayed and plotted against from family members and from friends and from coworkers, okay? I've been there and it sucks. So, but what do you do when that happens, okay? Well, I'm going to give you an example of what was done in the past. Now, don't take my words and twist it all around. This is an example of how extreme it is, right? How significant it is when someone is caught plotting against someone or when someone betrays someone back in the day. And I love watching historical documentaries of emperors, of warriors from back in the day, of wars. So I'm going to talk about Alexander the Great for a moment, okay? So Alexander the Great, everyone's heard of him, so I'm not going to go into all kinds of stuff about Alexander the Great. You've heard of him, okay? Probably the greatest military general ever. And why? It's because for 8 years, basically going from Greece to the very edge to India, okay, right to the border of India. 8 years on horseback and on foot, winning battle after battle after battle after battle, beating the Persians, going all the way to India. You have no idea the magnitude of significance that was for one guy, okay? And actually, just quick side note, the only reason why they didn't go into India is because his army caused a mutiny and rebelled and said, look, Alexander, you are so great, but we're exhausted. We're done. We haven't seen our family. We haven't seen our friends. We miss home. We've been on battling for you for 8 years. We're not doing it anymore. That's the only reason why he didn't go into India. And then they started turning back, okay? So in those times, and prior to that, and even past that, in this extreme example, when Alexander sensed that somebody was plotting against him or has outright betrayed him, he did one of two things. He either had them killed or he put them in jail. That's it. There was no reconciliation. There was no, can we work this out? None of that fucking nonsense. None of that. Now, that's extreme. I'm not promoting killing. No. Right? But that's how bad plotting was and betrayal was. It was like, oh, you are done. Done. You're either dead or you're in prison, okay? So fast forward to today. What do you do, right? Because obviously neither one of us have the means to put someone in prison, and we're certainly not going to kill someone. So, quick story before I give you that answer is in one of my jobs, I had this guy working for me, and he wasn't working for me before. My boss said, hey, can you manage this dude? So I started managing this dude, and he drove a truck, and this guy just did not like me. Okay, he was used to kind of doing his own thing, and I start kind of looking into his day-to-day. I'm like, okay, well, how long does it take you to drive from Miami to this other place? And then, oh, that's interesting. It took you 8 days to drive from here to here, but normally it only takes 4 days. Can you explain that to me? And all these things. And anyways, as I started learning more, I discovered more and more things that he was doing that I shouldn't have been doing, right? So one night, he gets upset at me looking into his affairs, and he goes above my head, right? Plotting against me. In fact, he gathers up and speaks to all the salespeople in the company, plotting against me. And then eventually my boss catches wind of this, right? My boss calls me on a Sunday night at 11 o'clock p.m. And he says, look, I'm not sure if you're aware, but an email has been going around. He's been saying this about you, blah, blah, blah. And he told me this. He said, look, he reports to you, to me, so you do what you need to do, but I'm going to give you my advice. And my advice is we terminate him tomorrow on Monday. Done. I was fairly new in the role. I was only new like 3 months. This guy had a very busy schedule of meeting customers with this truck for like the next 3 months, back to back to back to back to back. I had no backup plan. Okay. So I'm giving you my reasons why I made the decision. You can probably tell that I ended up keeping him on board for a little bit. So I didn't have a backup plan. I didn't have another driver. And I felt, damn, if I fire this guy right now, then I'm going to upset all the salespeople because now they don't have a truck and a trailer to showcase the products for 3 months. So I had all these reasons why it was a better decision for me to keep him on board. I did speak with him, but I kept him on board. And by the way, bro, it was the worst decision, one of my worst decisions of my life, because it was the smoldering, festering fire that just got worse and worse and worse. And I should have taken my boss's advice and fired his ass right away. Boom. So what do you do when you find out someone's plotting against you or they've betrayed you? You cut them off. 100% brutal, ruthless decision. You cut them off completely from your life. You make a choice if you want to have that conversation with them and say, hey, we're no longer going to be friends, or we're no longer family. What you did hurt, and I'm not going to, I'll forgive you, but I'm not going to forget that. And you and I are done, right? That's the best way to handle. And it sounds brutal, right? But that's the best way to handle somebody who has plotted against you and you find that out, or they've betrayed you, is to cut them off at the knees. Boom! No chance, right? I will leave you with this one last thing. And it's hard with family because family can be this cancer to you, right? They can be this life sucking. And I will tell you this. When I was in university, I took on a job to work in a group home, a youth group home, okay? This group home was for young offenders. But here's the catch. The young offenders were pedophiles. They were pedophile young offenders. Right, you might be thinking, what the fuck? They were under 18, so 13 to 17, charged with pedophilia acts. So they were young offenders, okay? They were in this group home to try and get reintegrated back into society, to basically work their way out from being in jail, well, young offender jail, not jail, and most importantly, so that they don't go into jail as an adult, okay? So I was one of the youth counselors at this group home where they had certain restrictions on what time they can stay out till, what time they need to come home, and all these things. So I'm sharing this story because I had to supervise family visits with the kids and the family. Here's the really, really sad part about this. Every single one of these kids that were pedophiles were abused by their family. And I'm not talking just like their father or their mother. I'm talking the father, the mother, the brother, the sister, the aunt, the uncle. It was bad, 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 bad. So here I am. I'm supervising these family visits, and the family members come in, whoever they are, and they're telling the kid how much they love the kid, and the kid's saying how much they love this family member. And it made my blood boil. I was so angry every single time internally, because I was like, you son of a gun, to the parents or family members that were the abusers. I'm like, how dare you say that you love this child when your actions say the complete opposite, right? By the way, just quick side note, you've heard Pontius Pilate ask Jesus that famous line, what is truth? Well, somebody explained this to me and I love it. Truth is when the actions and the words become one, okay? Someone cannot say they love you, but their actions are opposite. Or their actions show that they love you, but their words hurt like you would not believe. So the actions and the words need to become one in order for that to be truth. So all I wanted to do was to pull that kid aside and say the best thing you can do, because this family member has betrayed you, has either plotted against you, whatever, but they don't love you, the best thing you can do is cut them off completely. Like Alexander the Great, right? Cut them off. So that's my point. That's why I wanted to share that story with you. So anyone who's plotted against you or has betrayed you, mark my words, the best thing you can do is protect yourself from them and from further harm, because they will harm you more, and to cut them off completely. So I want to hear from you in the comments and how you deal with a situation like that. All right. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.